The mother dressed her daughter in a wedding gown and praised her as the most beautiful girl in the world. The daughter, delighted by the compliment, continued playing with her dolls. But when the mother turned around again, she was shocked to see that her daughter's hands were covered in wrinkles. Fiona was startled. She walked up to her, and as she got closer, she realized it was an old woman.
Where is my daughter? What have you done with my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
Fiona grabbed the elderly woman and forcefully pushed her to the ground. But when she tore off the veil, she was stunned to see that the person in front of her had turned back into her daughter. Thinking there might be someone else in the house, she grabbed a gun and began searching. She soon heard the sound of a piano. The music was coming from the living room. She opened the door, but the music stopped. She walked into the room and found that the door behind her had closed by itself. As she was puzzled, the piano began playing again. She immediately shut the piano and locked it with a key. As she stepped out of the room, the door closed automatically again. Just as she was examining it, the door started shaking. She called the housekeeper for help. The housekeeper used a key to open the door, but when she did, she was surprised to find that the piano, which had just been locked, had opened on its own. The housekeeper suggested that Fiona might be overly stressed and recommended she take her medication, offering to take over managing the house. Fiona began to suspect that the housekeeper was behind all of this and planned to take over the house. So she flushed her medication down the drain. She decided to go to the town to find the priest and cleanse the house of any evil. However, the housekeeper stopped her, saying that the fog was too thick and she might get lost. Fiona ignored her warnings. Before leaving, she asked the gardener to check the nearby graveyards. As soon as Fiona left the castle, the housekeeper and the gardener stood together.
And when do you think we should bring all this out into the open?
All in good time, Mr. Tuttle. All in good time. Speaking of which...
Oh!
On the other side, Fiona, as the housekeeper predicted, got lost in the fog. Just as she began to panic, she saw her husband. He had been missing for 5 years after going to war and had not been heard from since. Now, he suddenly returned. Fiona brought her husband back home, and the housekeeper was surprised. The first thing her husband did upon returning was go upstairs to find their children. He embraced both of them. Fiona called him to dinner, but he closed the door on her. Fiona didn't understand, but her husband said that their daughter had already told him everything. Fiona didn't offer further explanation. Instead, she held her cold husband and sang the song they had sung when they first met. The next morning, her husband disappeared again. Fiona couldn't understand why her husband was so cold to her, why he had returned just to leave so soon. But before she could think more about it, she heard her daughter and son screaming. She rushed back into the house and opened the door, only to find her children sitting beneath the bed, screaming in terror. But when she turned around, the scene before her made her even more afraid.